Coming up in EastEnders, Emmerdale and Coronation Street next week. There is heartbreak as Nigel loses his battle with dementia, but will Grant and Phil manage to say goodbye to their friend before it is too late? Elsewhere, Cindy and Max make things official, and Ravi is diagnosed with PTSD. Find out more in our explosive EastEnders spoilers for next week. Spoiler 1, Grant's back. Sam and Mark are surprised to see Grant arrive in Walford. Mark tells Grant that Phil is struggling and hasn't been to see Nigel since he moved into the care home. Grant is stunned when he goes to see Nigel and realises how poorly he has become. He's fuming with Phil for not telling him sooner. Sam and Grant have a heart-to-heart with Phil, but they soon fall out, leading to Phil throwing Sam out of his house. Spoiler 2, Nigel passes away. Phil is in a bad place, convinced that Nigel, Julie and the rest of his family don't need him. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Julie decides it is time to make Nigel comfortable and stop his treatment. Grant sits with Nigel and is surprised when he unexpectedly wakes up and requests something from his past. Wanting to help fulfill Nigel's wish, Grant heads home to find Phil. But the house is empty. Grant finds Phil at the beach. He tries to talk to his brother, but he is interrupted by Julie calling. She begs him to come back as Nigel doesn't have long left. Grant pleads with Phil to go with him and say goodbye to their friend. Despite time running out, Phil refuses to leave before he does one last thing for Nigel. As Julie says her final goodbye, Nigel continues to hold on. Thankfully, Phil makes it back in time to say his own heartbreaking farewell. Spoiler 3, news of Nigel's death leaves Walford heartbroken. Nigel's friends are devastated as the news of his passing spreads. When Phil and Julie return to the square, everyone gathers to support them. Julie is shocked at how quickly Nigel's death has brought people together, while Phil struggles with his grief. Spoiler 3, Ravi finally gets an official diagnosis. After his mental health spiraled out of control, Ravi remains in a mental health clinic. He finally gets diagnosed with complex PTSD and begins therapy. Spoiler 4, Cindy and Max make things official. Cindy finally agrees to go on a date with Max, but has absolutely no intention of turning up. However, when she sees Max and Linda chatting, Cindy gets jealous and goes to meet Max for their date. Max and Cindy decide to make their romance official, but agree to keep it a secret for now. After a close call with Lauren, they realise that they are going to have to tell people soon, but agree to pick the right time. And if you enjoyed these EastEnders spoilers, subscribe so you can come back for more news from the square. Here are 8 Emmerdale spoilers for next week, including Robert confesses to Moira as she and Kane hit rock bottom. Stay tuned. Spoiler 1. Robert confesses to Moira. Moira insists on helping at the farm and Robert feels uncomfortable. She can see something isn't right and presses him for the truth. Robert can't keep it in any longer and admits he planted the IDs that led to her going to prison. He reveals the truth about Joe's blackmail and the video of Victoria killing John. Spoiler 2. Moira turns a gun on Joe. Moira tells Robert to go to the police and he agrees. Aaron begs Moira not to get Robert in trouble and she agrees to keep quiet, especially when he reminds her Robert is not the one to blame here. Moira turns up at home farm and confronts Joe with a shotgun. Graham interrupts, but Moira stands her ground. How far will she go? Spoiler 3. Dawn finds out everything. Moira soon sees Dawn out on a walk and confronts her about Joe. Dawn is shaken by Moira's accusations. Dawn later goes to see Moira and asks Moira to tell her everything she knows. What does this mean for Dawn and Joe? Spoiler 4, Kane makes a confession. Kane is struggling to express his fears to Moira, and they are further apart than ever. Liam wants to see if he can help. Kane soon makes a confession to Liam. He plans to cancel his cancer surgery. Moira is upset over how bad things are with Kane and confides in Chaz. Can they find a way back to each other? Spoiler 5, Sarah and Jacob are officially parents. Sarah and Jacob are overwhelmed when they become the official parents of baby Layla. The young couple are besotted and enjoy time with her. Ross and Mac show up with a gift from Moses. Ross is awkward and doesn't want to hold the baby. However, Jacob insists on inviting him to the family gathering later. Will Ross crack? Spoiler 6. Paddy gets his affairs in order. Eve is hurt by gossip about Paddy's arrest, so Paddy confesses he may go to prison for helping her granddad. Heartbroken Eve begs her dad not to leave, and Paddy is distraught. Mandy tries to help by suggesting Paddy let Bear take the blame for the whole thing. Paddy is absolutely disgusted and storms out. However, later they reconcile and are united to face whatever is coming next. As the eve of the trial arrives, Paddy isn't feeling optimistic. He looks out over the village, worried about what the future will bring. Spoiler 7. Todd's manipulations continue. Vanessa, Dr. Todd, Manpreet and Mary are all bonding in the pub and agree to a darts match. Mary puts Vanessa and Todd on the same team. Vanessa is oblivious to Todd's flirting during the match, but later Todd takes the opportunity to sow some more lies about Jacob. Spoiler 8. Joe reveals Dawn's secret. Dawn is stunned and blindsided when she realizes Joe has already told Kim and the children about their pregnancy. And if you enjoyed these Emmerdale spoilers, subscribe so you can come back for more. Here are 7 Coronation Street spoilers for next week as we finally find out who was murdered in Flash Forward Week. Don't miss it. Spoiler 1. One of 5 victims dies this week. We're taken back to the day of Carla and Lisa's wedding this week, as each episode follows the possible final day in the life of one of the potential murder victims. Megan, Jodie, Carl, Theo or Maggie will breathe their last, but who will it be? Spoiler 2. Theo out to get Todd. Todd is horrified when Theo appears in the shop flat. Things quickly turn violent as Todd tries to escape his tormentor. George arrives just in time. The pair manage to overpower Theo and escape from the flat. Desperate to get away, Todd gets a cab to the airport, but it's forced to stop when he realizes he's not got his phone. He comes face to face once again with Theo, who is holding the phone. What lengths will Todd go to escape this monster for good? Spoiler 3. Carl sets out for revenge. Debbie tells Ronnie and Kevin that she has paid Carl to leave. Before he goes, Carl tries to tie up some loose ends, but he ends up ruffling even more feathers, including winding up Abby. He then secretly tampers with the brakes on Kevin's car at the garage. Will he be found out? And will this final act lead to his downfall? Spoiler 4. Jodie's past catches up with her as she tries to punish Shona. Jodie is preparing to leave Weatherfield, but then she hears Shona screaming. Outside, Shona is being confronted by 2 men. Jodie knows that have come for her, and she decides she has no choice but to give up the hard drive. Shona asks Jodie to stay. However, when Jodie discovers her sister did receive her letter, she is furious and wants revenge. David becomes collateral damage as Jodie tries to break up his and Shona's marriage. Finding herself out on the street, Jodie heads to the swings and can't believe she has messed everything up. Someone then approaches, and she is surprised as it seems her past is finally catching up with her. Spoiler 5. Megan and Maggie face off. Eva, Leanna and Toya frog march Megan into the flat to try and force her to confess to her crimes. However, she refuses and winds them all up, which ends in another scuffle and Megan getting punched in the nose. Megan tries to play the victim with Daniel, but he washes his hands with her. She's then left in the ginnel on her own when she overhears Maggie and Melaine and records some incriminating information. Maggie then confronts Megan about the recording, but when Megan reveals her own secret, Maggie sees red. The feud between them escalates, but will it result in one of them falling to their death? Spoiler 6. Sarah caught in the crossfire. As things get more heated across Weatherfield, Sarah is caught in the crossfire of a brutal home invasion. Spoiler 7. Betsy finds a body. There are several lives hanging in the balance with bloodshed everywhere. But it's Betsy Swain who makes the horrifying discovery. The street will be changed forever, but who didn't make it out alive? And if you enjoyed these Coronation Street spoilers, subscribe so you can come back for more news from the Cobbles.